All right. So I wanted to make a video about this observation that numeric world order made of the connection between the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald and how it is a definite ritual and tribute to the Elizabeth Short, aka the Black Dahlia murder. So 100% credit to Numeric World Order on making this observation. I'm just expanding on the observation that he made. So let's get into it. So the SS Edmund Fitzgerald sank on November 10th, 1975. And in the language of Gematria, which is the practice of ritualistically encoding numbers into words, into letters, words, and phrases. In the language of Gematria, Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia's full name equals 75. And where the Edmund Fitzgerald sank was in Lake Superior. And Lake Superior also equals 75. And the sinking takes place in the year 1975. So what's crazy is the date that it sank is that it has 115 numerology. When you add 11 plus 10 plus 19 plus 75, you get 115. And January 15th, 1947 is when the body of Elizabeth Short was discovered in Leimert Park on the 3800 block of Norton Avenue in Los Angeles, California. And they say that's her date of death, but I would more accurately say it's the discovery of her body, and we'll never know the exact date of her death. And it's hard to pinpoint an exact date of death, and the medical examiners had a hard time doing that, and that's because all the blood was drained from her body. And when you do that, it slows down the decomposition, because I believe blood is responsible for triggering that decomposition process. So we'll never really know the exact date of her death. I think she disappeared on the 9th, but to the occult, this is the date that they want us to be the most familiar with, January 15th, because that is symbolic of the number 115. And in Gematria, killing equals 115. And if you think that's all crazy and just a coincidence, look at the Gematria of the Black Dahlia in the Edmund Fitzgerald. They both equal 83 in reverse full reduction. And murder equals 83. And I think Numeric World Order had been possibly making the connection between the Fitzgerald and the Black Dahlia in light of the number 115. But I had been making the observation that Ed Edwards is one of the infamous suspects that that a lot of people put blame on for committing the Black Dahlia murder. And Ed reminded him of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and he was 100% exactly right in thinking that. And it's no coincidence that Ed Edwards is associated with being the Black Dahlia killer, because Ed Edwards equals 83. And there was a supposed suicide note that had the name Ed Burns encoded into it. And they found that note on March 14th, 1947. And just look at the day of the year that the Edmund Fitzgerald sank. It was the 314th day of the year, a number that is symbolic of the ratio pi. One of the most sacred numbers in our matrix, you could say. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And by the way, suicide equals 47, like how this all began in 1947. Elizabeth equals 47, a very special number to the whole story of the Black Dahlia. But I thought that was probably no coincidence that they made it out to seem like it was a suicide note, because the note was found tucked in some boots along with some clothes on the beach, and people suspected that the person who had left it had taken off their clothes and walked out into the ocean to die. But someone came out later and made a website saying that there was this encoded name in the message, and that was Ed Burns. And let me show you that real fast. So here's the note. You see the Ed Burns. And by the way, a lot of people say, even on Detective John Cameron's Cold Case File website, says this photo right here that was taken close up to the time of her disappearance, that this gentleman is Ed Edwards. But I kind of see a similarity, but there's something different with the eyes. And this is Ed Edwards right here. And people claim that this is Ed Edwards right here, and it was taken close to the time of her disappearance and subsequent murder. So I thought that was a little strange. But so Ed Burns, and it reminds me a lot of Mr. Burns, the Skull and Bones member from the show The Simpsons. So, and I'm going to show you how this all relates to the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And of course, it's related to the Black Dahlia. But look at the gematria of Ed Burns. Black and sinking. Like black, like Dahlia. And Elizabeth Short was known for wearing black, and I believe she had black hair. But I think that's another reason why they say they dubbed her the Black Dahlia, because she wore black a lot. She had black hair, and she may not actually have black hair, and that's just how the photo is. It may be like dark brown or something. but it was in combination of her wearing black all the time and the movie The Blue Dahlia that came out a year earlier on April 19th, 1946. And that's a significant date because it was the formation date of the Superior General of the Society of Jesus, April 19th, 1541, I believe. And 56 years after the release of The Blue Dahlia on April 19th, 1946, you get the release of Murder by Numbers on April 19th, 2002, the same year that Lacey Peterson went missing. So, and keep in mind, Ed Edwards is being blamed for the murder of Lacey Peterson by Detective John Cameron. So you see how they're all connected through Gematria in this way. Ed Burns, black, and sinking, like how the Edmund Fitzgerald sank. And another famous sinking that happened on April 15th, 1912, happened on the 106th day of the year. And when you research the Fitzgerald, but listen to this. I'm going to read it to you. And you're going to see how crazy this is. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the Black Dahlia is one of the biggest mysteries and most popular mysteries in American crime. And listen to what they say about the Fitzgerald. So the legend of the Edmund Fitzgerald remains one of the most mysterious and controversial of all shipwreck tales heard around the Great Lakes. Her story is surpassed in books, film, and media only by that of the Titanic. So it has a kind of popular lore, much like the Black Dahlia. And the Black Dahlia murder is very popular among internet sleuths. And this gentleman, Gordon Lightfoot, even wrote a song about it in '76 called The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I found that interesting because Gordon Lightfoot was born on November 17th, 1938. A number pops up again and again with the Black Dahlia and ritualistic murders and Ed Edwards. So I think it's no coincidence that Gordon Lightfoot was chosen to write this song. And I don't know, that's just weird because Gordon Lightfoot kind of reminds me of Lighthouse. I don't know why. That's probably just a coincidence. But he's got the birthday that's only 7 days after the sinking of this, the Edmund Fitzgerald. So he was born on the 17th in 1938. And what was his numerology in 75? Okay. So what else is crazy is that So, at the request of the family members of the surviving members of the crew, there was 29. Keep that in the back of your mind. On July 4th, 1995, they go on this expedition to recover the bell. And I was like, wow, they chose July 4th, 7/4 or 4/7 to go and recover this bell. And that is no coincidence because remember, Elizabeth Short was murdered in 47, and that date can be written 7/4, killing, when you spell it correctly, killing equals 74. So without a doubt, that date for the bell recovery on July 4th, 1995 was no coincidence. And there's something behind the numerology of that date too. Oh yeah. So look at this. 106 numerology. When you add the month and the day and just the year, not the century, you get 106. Just like sinking equals 106. Black, like the Black Dahlia, black equals 106. Black, the color that is symbolic of Satan worship, black equals 106. Just like Ed Burns equals 106. So July 4th, 1995 was specifically chosen to be the date of this bell recovery, I think for this reason. Not only for the 74 and 47 symbolism, but the 106. And one of the most notorious sinkings of all time happened on the 106th day, the Titanic. But look at the values of Edmund, Ed Burns, and Edwards. They all have this value of 29. And that was another observation that Numeric World Order was making, was that Elizabeth Short's born on the 29th of July, the 7th month, in 1924. It's reported that 29 crew members perished on that day. And I believe that's special because 29 is a prime number. And 29 is the 10th prime number. And Satan and God both have this gematria value of 10. And the Fitzgerald sank on the 10th day of the 11th month. And in light of it happening on the 11th month, oh, look at the 29 for black, right? Look at black in full reduction, 11. This happened in the 11th month of the year, the 10th day of the 11th month. And look at beast, 11. Not to mention the 47, like how Elizabeth was murdered in 47. Elizabeth equals 47. And one of the nicknames for the Fitzgerald, the Fitz, The Fitz has Gematria value in reverse ordinal of 47. And that reminded me of a lot of the nickname for Elizabeth, Liz, equals 47. And 47 is the 15th prime number. 15 equals 38, just like murder, just like death, just like killing. And November 10th, 1975 has 15 numerology. If you don't include the century and you reduce everything down from a single digit, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0 plus 7 plus 5 equals 15, relating back to the discovery of Elizabeth Short's body on the 15th day of 1947. So pretty suspicious and interesting set of circumstances when viewed through the lens of Gematria and numerology. I think there was one more point I wanted to make. And what was that? I have no idea, but I think I'm gonna. Oh, okay. That's another thing that I wanted to. So, in light of the recovery mission for the Bell happening on July 4th, 1995, the 7/4. I want you guys to see look at this. So this Winifred Crick, she passed away in 2002, and she passed away on July 4th. And she's dubbed as one of the last remaining survivors of the Titanic. I think it was like one of the last 4 remaining American survivors or something. And look at her date of death, July 4th, 2002, just like the recovery date for the Bell of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So she's dead on 7/4. Look at her surname, Crick. Crick equals 74, just like killing. And this all takes place in the year 2002. Look at the value of Titanic survivor, 220, just like 22, the master builder number. Satanic has value of 22. And keep in mind, this is all the same year that the Lacey Peterson murder took place. And 2002 was definitely a special year for the number 74. If you take into consideration the fact that on Palm Sunday, March 24th, the 74-year-old Nobel Prize winning biochemist Cesar Milstein passed away at the age of 74 on the same night of the 74th Academy Awards, where Beautiful Mind won Best Picture, and Beautiful Mind is based on the life of what was that guy's name? Here, I'm just going to show you the post, and then I'll get back into that. Shoot. And Palm Sunday 2002 was the 83rd day of the year, March 24th, 2002. Look, Milstein, 38 and 15, just like Killing. He's dead at the age of 74 in Cambridge, England, equals 74. Heart condition equals 74. The same night of the 74th Academy Awards. Oh, it was John Forbes Nash Jr. equals 74. So big number for the year 2002. And let me expand on that. Lacey Peterson disappeared on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve equals 74. And Lacey was symbolic of the Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary equals 74. So, yeah, those are the observations I've made. And there's a lot of 74 rituals in the year 2002. Let's see here. So getting back to the death of Winifred Crick. So Satanic has that 22 Gematria. And just look at the time that they say that the Titanic sank at 2:20 a.m. And you'll get different values wherever you look around. But I thought it was interesting because there's not a set number of how many. The Titanic definitely, it says it carried 2,200 passengers and crew. I think it was carrying more, but I think the reason why they chose, the History Channel chose the 2,200 was in light of this, Satanic. And the fact that the sinking of the Titanic was satanic in origin. Look at Winifred Crick. It's a weird name, by the way. Winifred Crick. 202. And look at the Gematria of Titanic survivor. 76. Just like Titanic equals 76. And Winifred Crick also has Gematria value of 76. Blood sacrifice and human sacrifice also equal 76 in the single reduction in the cipher where you don't reduce S down to 1 and you keep S as a value of 10. That equals 76. And I'm officially dubbing 2002 the master number year. And look at the Gematria of master, 76 and 22. Master number also equals 76, just like Winifred Crick. And in case you're new to numerology or gematria or esoteric knowledge, multiples of 11 are considered master numbers. They are considered the most powerful, probably aside from prime numbers. They are considered to have the most spiritual power. That is why they're used again and again and again and again in rituals, numerological rituals. Think about how September 11th was all about the number 11. And the day the Titanic sank, April 15th, 1912, has 31 numerology. And that's special because 31 is the 11th prime number and 11 is the first master number. Titanic also equals 31. And look at how much 31 repeats itself within the Titanic code. Have you? Construction began on the 31st of March, and then it was launched on May 31st in the 11th year of the 20th century. And the day that it was launched had a numerology of, I think I wrote, wait a second, that might be a typo. Let me check the, let's go May 31st, 1911. Oh, no. No, it's not a typo. It just looks weird. So 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 11, the master number. And from the anniversary, from the 90-year anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic to her death on July 4th, was 11 weeks and 3 days. And that reminds me a lot of the number 113. And Titanic has Gematria value of 113. So I know I said I was going to cut this video short, but the whole recovery of the bell on July 4th, 1995, the expedition to recover the bell from the Edmund Fitzgerald reminded me a lot of this story of one of the Titanic survivors who passed on July 4th in 2002. So I think that is about it. And I'll talk to you later.